Hello everyone, John here once more, and I thought I'd do a little lesson today on the musical alphabet. Now, if you're getting to the next level of guitar where you're playing power chords and you're playing bar chords, it's really essential that you know what the notes are on at least the low E and the A string so you can move those shapes around. All right, with open chords it's very simple because they're just shapes you learn. You don't really know what the notes are, and you don't need to because you've memorized those shapes. But with power chords and bar chords, you're really going to need to know this. Ideally, you should know the notes all over the guitar, the whole guitar. But for now, if you can just do the E string and the A string, that will really help you out. Now, before we get into the musical alphabet, we're just going to have a look at the open strings on the guitar, just in case you've forgotten. So, just to refresh your memory, the open strings are E, A, D, G, B, E. Now, you can remember that by every afternoon, Dad's gas barbecue explodes. So, E for every, A, afternoon, Dad, D, G, gas, B, barbecue, explodes. Alright, so if you look below here, we've got the musical alphabet, and it's very, very, very simple. It's just A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then you're back to A again. That's it. Apart from one small detail, and that's in music. Everything has something called a sharp note. So let's have a look at how it looks with the sharps now. Well, as you can see, you've got A, then A sharp, then B. Now, an interesting thing happens at B. You've got two notes in the musical alphabet that don't have sharps. One is B, and the other one is E. So B goes directly to C, E goes directly to F. So if it helps you to remember, you can remember no sharps for Bertie or Ernie, all right? So if we go from A, we have A sharp, B, B goes directly to C because there's no sharp. Then it's C sharp, D, D sharp, E. E doesn't have a sharp, remember, so it goes directly to F. Then F sharp, G, and then G sharp. And that's it. That's the musical alphabet. Now, of course, the interesting thing when you're talking about strings is you're not always starting on the A, are you? You know, because you've got these open strings, you know, E, A, D, G, B, E. So you want to kind of discover what these notes are on the strings. So your starting point is slightly different. Now, if I start with the E string, this one here, now of course we're not starting on the note A, are we? At the beginning of the alphabet, we're starting on the note of E, which is kind of halfway through, isn't it? So if I play E, what is the next note after E? If you look at our little chart here, well, the next one is an F. So if I press down on the first fret, that note is going to be an F because E is our starting point. F is the next note. If you look up one more, we've got F sharp, and then look up one more from that. What would be the next note? That's right, it's a G note. And then, of course, we've just got one more to go before we're kind of back to the beginning again, which is A. And that note, yeah, you've guessed it, is a G sharp. So the next note, we're back at A again. So that A note here on the 5th fret of the E is the same as that note, which I'm hitting, which is of course the A string. So if I hit those two notes together, it's the same thing. You've got an A note there on the 5th fret, and we've got that E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, and of course you can continue doing that, can't you? A sharp, B, B doesn't have a sharp, remember, so it goes to C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and then look at this. We're back to E again. We've gone through all of the 12 notes, and that's what that double dot means on your guitar, is you've got to the second octave. So there's an E, open E, we're playing here. By the time you've gone through all the notes and you get back to here, you've gone back to an E again. And it begins again. Now let's just do one more. If I play the A string, okay, I'm playing the A string here. Now, Now we are at the beginning, so what is the next note to A if I press down on the first fret? Well, it's the musical alphabet, so it's an A sharp. What's the next one? It's a B. So just remember you're starting on the A now, so A sharp. B. Does B have a sharp? No, it doesn't, so it goes to C, then C sharp, then D, D sharp, E. Does E have a sharp? No, it doesn't, so it goes to F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and then A. Now, so if you want to play your power chords, what you really want to do is you don't want to kind of be working this out, you know, what is that note? Oh, it's an E, F, F sharp, oh, it's a G. Just try and memorize the notes on these dots here. So for the E, G, A, B, C sharp on the low E, and then on the dots here, C, D, E, F sharp, all right? So let me give you a test now, if you've got the hang of that. I'm going to go to another string and see if you can work out a note. So I'll start you off with this one. So of course, if we were starting now on the G string, let me give you a little test. So we're starting on the G string now. So if we look at our little chart, what is the next note after G? So if I play this note here, what is that note? Hopefully you've come up with a G sharp, okay? This note is an A. So now what I'm going to do, let me just test you. What would this note be here? What would that note be? Okay, give you a couple of minutes to think about that one. So, any ideas? You might need to work out G, G sharp, A sharp, B. B doesn't have sharp, so that note is a C, you see. So it's just wherever your starting point is. If your starting point is a B string here, second string up, then of course the next note is going to be a C. Because remember, B doesn't have a sharp, so C, C sharp, D. So once you understand these notes, it just gives you a bit more options in terms of your playing for chords and of course for notes too. Now of course if someone tells you to play a C note, you've got a couple of choices, haven't you? You could either, depending where you're on the guitar, someone said play a C note, well you could play this one on the 3rd fret of the A string, that's a C note. Or of course you could go up here to the 8th fret of the low E, so that's a C note, and that's also a C note. So by learning these notes, the choice is yours. It's up to you. Do you want to play that C note there? Maybe someone wants to play, well you want to play a power chord, C power chord. I'll go over this in the power chord lesson, but here's a power chord. There's a C. Should you play it there? Or should you play it here? Well, the choice is yours. But you've got the freedom of choice once you know the notes, you see. There we are. So that's the lesson on the musical alphabet. Hope that helps. I know it's really difficult learning these notes at first, but if you can do it, your playing will really improve and the guitar neck won't seem so scary, you know, because when you're new to guitar and you look at it, you think, all these notes, you know, what are they all? And it seems very confusing. But if you learn them, you'll find, you know, it's very easy. You can start playing chords in different places on the guitar and the whole thing becomes much more simple. So have some fun with that. Watch the next lesson on the power chords and that will really help you out.